it's a lot of pressure all the time to be the absolute best in every regard. You know, you have to be good on camera, you have to be good on track, you have to be good behind the scenes, you have to be good away from the track when you're not even working, you're not doing anything.
Particularly the struggles with injury create confidence issues in terms of regaining are you ever going to regain the level that you were once at, etc. So I think dealing with physical issues creates a lot of stress.
The worry of getting hurt, and then when you do get hurt, it's stressing to get back as soon as possible, knowing everybody knows that if you come back too soon, does more harm than good. But you also don't want to sit out while there could be the opportunity of somebody else taking your ride or taking your place. People forget about you.
I injured my shoulder earlier this year, and on track at the circuit, people see me, trying to walk with like square shoulders as possible, straight up and down, smiling. And then away from the track, I've gone into really dark places thinking like, how long can I keep doing this? I don't bounce like I used to.
I think another struggle really in a sort of team is if you're a teammate to an absolute elite rider who's found a different level of technique or confidence than you've been capable of, then that can be quite difficult as well, because you've got the same support, the same equipment, and yet, you're effectively being dominated by somebody else.
It's been my lifelong dream to race motorbikes and make that my career. And I guess the biggest thing comes down to, that if you don't do well, that dream's going to go away pretty quickly. It's not going to last for long, and you're going to be out of a job because the industry really is that savage, and that's just how it is. So having that hanging over your head, if you aren't absolutely on it every time you get on that bike, you could be working at McDonald's pretty quickly. So
especially this year with the level being as high as it's been ridiculous. We're breaking that records every weekend, and for us to try and compete with that, especially someone like myself who's a rookie, it's so hard to compete with that. And I think people might look at the timing and think, Dan Jones in 25th, say 1.5 off. In reality, that's not that bad of a job, but it looks it when you look at the timing, and it's so difficult because to attract sponsors or fans, you need to be in the top 5 positions, and to get to that point is so hard. So it's a bit of a vicious circle, really. Like I say, people just don't quite understand how hard it actually is.
While it looks shiny and polished and glamorous, there's a whole other side to it, which is traveling's exhausting, absolutely exhausting. If you're at the top of your tier, you've got all your media commitments as well, and you can't have an off day. It's being able to on demand. It's a skill, but it's also quite tiring. Dealing with fans, you've got lots of other pressures rather than just performing on track.
It's tough being a rider. It's tough being someone who's always open to criticism. It's tough to being someone whose job sort of future depends on one weekend to the next, essentially. We've seen people get make or break opportunities based on one weekend of their life, one day of their life, and we've seen people lose those opportunities for the same thing. We see them operating in a super high pressure bubble. Social media hasn't helped because it means everyone can shout and scream at them.
The amount of social media abuse I see towards certain riders it's borderline disgusting. And I think that you have to be so mentally strong to actually deal with that. And I've seen plenty of riders, across all the classes, when they've made a mistake, they get absolutely hammered for it for months, and it's not fair.
There's very little in the way of support structures because all of this is happening in a super macho, masculine motorsport world where admitting your feelings is seen as weakness.